Hey YouTubers, this is your boy Amari Points here, bringing you a new YouTube video. As most of you know, today is like the last day of summer, and we don't get any summer movies anymore. Oh, I am so sad. I'm bummed. But this summer, we did get tons of promising, tons of promising movies this year. So this video, I decided to do my top 10 movies of summer 2019. And I'm going to be going up to 10 to 1. That's how it usually works. So yeah, at number 10 is Dora and the Lost City of Gold, which I saw a few weeks ago. And again, this was a perfect summer movie. Isabella as Dora, she is perfect. She is this upbeat, cheerful teenage girl who is trying to fit in with the big city life, and is still being herself, because that's the whole key to like this movie, is just be yourself. Don't let anyone change you for who you are. Also, again, the rest of the cast, including Michael Pena, was great, because Michael Pena, as always, he's funny in every single role he does, and literally he is. And I myself enjoyed him in this role. But as for the rest of the cast, they were phenomenal, as you saw in my movie review on it. Go check that out. You'll love hearing what I have to say about that. And this movie really did feel like an Indiana Jones movie in a way. But again, it just wasn't. It was good, but still, I think it could have been a whole lot better though. And it would, if it changes by, if I rewatch it and get the DVD by the end of this year and it changes my mind, it might go up to number 1 during the end of this year video. So number 9, Hobbs and Shaw. I know most of you are going to get mad at me for putting Hobbs and Shaw at number 9. But yes, it was a good movie. I love seeing Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham's characters go at it throughout the whole movie. Those two really do not like each other, and they don't get along. But they have to save the world, and because if they don't, they're all done for. But again, this movie was still an action-packed movie though, but it still had a few problems. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but I just wish it was full more of action and a little bit of comedy in between, like this much, like equally. But still, it was nice to see a lot of familiar faces in this movie, including some celebrity cameos that most of you already know who are in there. And seeing Luke Hobbs go back to his roots and asking for help from his family, of course, because as most of you know, the main key to the Fast and Furious movies is basically about family, and family always having your back. And that is just what I love most about this movie in general, because you never know who you might need at the end of the day, because family is important, even if they're friends who you see as family. But I digress. Hobbs and Shaw was just a phenomenal movie for this summer, and still a great movie, including Idris Elba. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Who is like Brixton, who plays Brixton, aka Black Superman. He was a phenomenal villain in this Fast and Furious spin-off movie. Straight up, he was, because nobody could beat him. Nobody could literally beat him, because he was just a pretty badass villain. literally a badass villain. And we get to see Hobbs and Shaw like duke it out. They throw insults at each other, and they still found a way to get along at the end of the movie, and helps Shaw and Hobbs help Shaw save his sister, and I think they got Hobbs and Deckard Shaw's sister got like a little romance going on. I don't know, but if this movie gets a sequel, I'm totally down for it. Again, hands down, a good Fast and Furious movie to wrap up the summer for sure. And at number 8, this movie, Men in Black Internationals. Please don't get me started on this movie. It was just terrible. Straight up terrible. Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, don't get me wrong, these guys had good chemistry considering they worked together in Thor Ragnarok and in Avengers Endgame. They have good chemistry together, and I'm glad we get to see them work together again. But the story, though, the story to Men in Black Internationals, that really didn't interest me at all. I just wish, they worked on the ending. I mean, the movie a little bit more, worked on the plot, and made it more interesting and exciting, like the past Men in Black movies. But because I'm sorry I can't talk. Because this Men in Black movie, hands down, it was the worst. But I still somewhat enjoyed it though. Because, again, Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson have good chemistry in this movie for sure. That's why I loved seeing these two together, and I always will. Hopefully, I see them again and they get to work on another movie together. If they do, I'm so going to go see it for sure. And let's just say, like I said, they needed to work on this movie more, but it still made my top 10 summer movies because it was enjoyable. It was somewhat enjoyable and somewhat funny. The rest of the cast did a fantastic job, including Liam Neeson, who was hands down perfect, without a doubt. And moving on to number 7 of my top 10 summer movies, Toy Story 4. Let me tell you, if you haven't seen this movie yet, go to the theater and see it. Because we get to be reunited with Bo Peep, who we haven't seen in the third Toy Story movie. Everyone was wondering where she was, what she was doing, and who was her new owner. I was wondering that myself. And guess what? We finally get to see her in this 4th Toy Story installment. And this Toy Story was the final one in the franchise. And it was just so... This movie was tearful. I cried on so many scenes. I really did. I'm not ashamed to admit that. This Toy Story was like straight up emotional. We had to say goodbye to a main character. I'm not telling you who, but when you go see the movie, you'll see who we said, who we'll have to say goodbye to, and it will be a very emotional ending that you guys are going to need tissues to wipe your tears. And there's this one new character who we see, who people think is a villain, but at the same time she's not. She's just misunderstood. And let me tell you, it was nice to see all of the characters in this movie again, but most of them were like benched. They didn't really show up in most of the movie because, I guess they weren't really all that needed. And it would have been nice if they actually included the characters instead of just benching them. We see them in a few scenes, but that's basically it. But all in all, Toy Story 4 hands down made my list because I really enjoyed it. It was a good way to wrap up the Toy Story franchise and saying goodbye to all of our favorite characters. I know when you go see this movie, you'll tear up, you'll cry, you'll you'll wind up loving it, and it'll be tough to say goodbye to all of our favorite characters. I know it was tough for me, especially seeing a bunch of our favorite characters again, and knowing we had to say goodbye. It was tough. I was really crying. But on to number 6, guys. Number 6 is The Secret Life of Pets 2. This movie features Max and and the rest of our favorite pets, Snowball, and a new character, Daisy, who's played none other. I forgot her name. I am so sorry, guys. I am trying to wake up here. Who's and Daisy, a new dog, and Max is stressed out. Max is stressed out because his owner has a kid now, and he's kind of like protecting him, and he has to wear this cone, as most of you saw in the trailers and everything. Also, we get to see Harrison Ford in this movie as a dog, so he's like one of those tough dogs and all that other stuff. But still, hands down, a good movie. Kevin Hart as Snowball, and Tiffany Haddish, yes, I got her name, Tiffany Haddish as Daisy. They were funny, and we seen Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish together once in Night School, and it was nice to see them work together again. And seeing all these other dogs and new pets, it was just great. Good wrap up to another good summer movie that I think people will enjoy, especially all the little kids out there. They are definitely going to enjoy this movie so much. And just have a blast with it. Now, my top 5 movies. We're almost done, people. We're almost done. Aiming at number 5 is Spider-Man Far From Home. And Peter Parker is trying to like just have a normal vacation after the events of Avengers Endgame. Well, as most of you seen already, most of you already got the movie. Peter is kind of like struggling to be a normal superhero and just struggling to like cope with his friend slash mentor's death. Tony Stark's. Sorry if I spoiled it for you guys who haven't seen it yet. He's still trying to cope with Tony's death, and I know most of us are still like coping with it because Tony was like that mentor, was a good mentor to Peter, and it's tough for like all the people who were friends with him. Also, we get to see Jake Gyllenhaal play this new character, Mysterio, who says he's from another universe, but he isn't who he says he is. That's all I can tell you. You're going to have to see the movie for yourself to see what I mean. And guess what? It's out this Labor Day. How about that? You guys can see it again. And what I can tell you, this movie was hands down perfect. Tom Holland was great as Spider-Man. I'm hoping to see him again in more future movies. Zendaya as MJ. She was perfect too. She was pretty funny in her own weird, goofy way. And as for the rest of the cast, phenomenal. The story was perfect. It was nice to see them do this perfect Spider-Man movie again, and have them make it a hands down perfect Spidey movie. And now, number 4, guys, number 4. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That was another great summer movie that I enjoyed so much. And seeing Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, he was just straight up funny. He's just that fun-loving Pikachu who loves coffee. And Tim, played by Justin Smith, I believe, and who's looking for his lost dad, wondering what happened to him. They're on this really huge adventure, and it's just straight up a blast. It's it's taking them all over Rhyme City and showing who's really behind the crime of Tim's dad. Also, and let me tell you, it will blow your mind who did it. That's all I can say. And finally, number 3. The top 3 movies, guys. My number 3 is Aladdin, the 2019 version. I love this movie. I did not hate this movie at all. For as long as live action Disney movies been made, I didn't hate this one. This one stood by the story, and we got to see a bunch of new songs and a great cast. Except for one person, the guy who played Jafar. He was hands down awful. He was straight up awful. I was hoping he would be a whole lot better. But all in all, this was the best summer movie I've seen throughout all of the summer. Especially, and it's the best Disney remake I've seen too. But now, number 2, the live action Lion King movie. I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it. I don't get why people hate it so much because it was perfect. I don't see what the problem was. It was hands down perfect. Jon Favreau directed this movie perfectly, and I didn't have no problems with it. I really didn't. We got to see a great cast. Beyonce as Nala, Donald Glover as Simba, and Seth Rogen as Pumbaa, and Billy as Timon. And many other cast members I can't name right now. This summer movie will hands down blow you away, and you'll want to see it over and over again. Trust me, I saw it twice, and I still loved it. Finally, number 1, the final movie, guys, number 1 movie is Avengers Endgame. 11 years of build-up, guys. This was worth the wait. Hands down worth the wait. I love seeing all of our favorite Marvel characters team up to fight Thanos again. And I really enjoyed the list of cast members that were in this movie because it was just something that everyone was expecting for the final Avengers movie that we're going to be seeing for a while. And guess what? I love seeing this. I love the movie 3000. And it was nice to see most of the actors wrap up their roles as their Marvel characters. It was a good way to send them off. And I am never going to forget that. I'm never going to forget all of the 11 years of great memories that I had with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's time to open a new door to a new generation of heroes. So yeah, I am happy that I was a part of this 11-year journey. And this, hands down, is a movie that you must own and watch over and over again. Trust me, you won't regret it. And guys, that's it for my top 10 summer movies of 2019. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and press the little notification bell at the bottom of my video to get notified when my next YouTube video is going to be. I'm going to be having a busy few days, but still I'm going to make sure that they're entertaining for all of you. And be sure to follow me on the Stardust app at Amari106 for my latest movie/trailer reaction. Take care and God bless. Peace!